Hello there, everyone. Today's video is going to be the first in a series of 4 about something that I mentioned briefly in the last video but didn't really elaborate on. As I'm sure all of you know, Nerf has not been very good with their blasters in recent years. Over the next 4 videos, well, it might not be the next 4 videos in a row, but over the 4 videos in this series, I will be going over the 4 Nerf series that I think have been the worst over the past couple of years. Today's video in particular will be about the Alpha Strike series. So the Alpha Strike series was originally designed to be kind of like the original point of it was like to have cheaper blasters that really anyone could buy, anyone could afford. Because this was this started in the late 2010s when things like Nerf and Legos that weren't as expensive before started going up in price. The Alpha Strike series was cheaper blasters. Now, obviously, since they were cheaper, you would expect lower quality. But how much lower the quality of these blasters dropped was completely absurd. The plastic, and I do not own any of these blasters. If I did own any of these blasters, I'd have them on my table in front of me right now. But I do not own any. But from what I've heard, the plastic on these is incredibly flexible. I could probably, if what I've heard about the quality of the plastic on these blasters is true, break one of these in half over my knee right now. And, successfully, I could take one, go like that, and break it. If the quality is as bad as I've heard. Most of the blasters are springers. And as I mentioned in the last video, I agree with the flywheels being superior. Someone did mention in the comments of the last video that you could be a sniper. That way, springers are good, which I agree with if you're camping in the corner or have the high ground. And now I feel bad because I don't remember who that was. Well, I know exactly who it was. I just don't remember what their name was. Because they did not have an easy name to remember. I do not remember YouTube names that well. I will try to put their name in the description. Or in a pinned comment or something of the kind. But they're most of the blasters were springers. I believe there was only one flywheel released in this entire series. I don't even think you can get that blaster anymore because there aren't that many of the blasters from this series that you can still get that I can think of. I don't think there are anyway. Most of the blasters were springers, so most of them wouldn't have even been that usable anyway. And I lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay. Most of the blasters were also clipped and glued together, so you wouldn't have been able to mod them. I do not mod my blasters. I use stock blasters, but I know a lot of people prefer to mod their blasters and use modded blasters. Especially when it's like a Nerf brand blaster that's shooting like 70 feet per second. A lot of people prefer to mod their blasters to get better performance. which is something that I understand. I just don't do it. And when a blaster is clipped and glued together, it's hard to do that nearly impossible to do that without damaging your blaster. And you don't want to damage the blaster. You want to, the whole point of modding a blaster is to make it better, not worse. So that was a huge loss for a lot of people with the Alpha Strike series. Another thing was the sheer lack of creativity with this series. Most of the blasters that I can think of off the top of my head from this series used the smart air restrictor system. I'm sure most of you nerdy enough to be watching this video know what that is, but for those of you who don't know, this is the Nerf Dino Blast. I believe it's Dino Squad. I feel so stupid now. The Nerf Dino Squad Tricera Blast. I just realized I was about to say Nerf Dino Blast Tricera Squad. Oh my god, what the heck. This is the Nerf Dino Squad Tricera Blast. And this uses the smart air restrictor system. So the way this works is there's a bunch of barrels stacked on top of each other, or sometimes they're next to each other. And they will go off in the order that they're positioned in, from top to bottom, or if it's like sideways like this, from side to side. And what's cool about this is if you say only load like one dart in, for like the middle, when you pull back the priming handle to fire, the middle dart is going to go off because it knows which one is loaded. Actually, let me go get it. I have darts like one room away from here. Let me go get a dart. So, if you load just the middle, the blaster will still go off because it knows which one is loaded. And that is a really cool system, but Alpha Strike completely abused that system. It was on almost every blaster in the series that I can think of off the top of my head. And I know Nerf can be creative because look at series like Elite and Zombie Strike, where almost every blaster has something new and creative about it that's different from the other blasters in the series. Alpha Strike was a bunch of clones of the same exact blaster. Some, like I swear, 1 week with Alpha Strike, they'd release something like this, where it's a smart air restrictor, 3 darts. Next week, it's the exact same blaster, but 4 darts. What in God's name? Why? Why? I know you can make different blasters, so why aren't you? I'm talking to Nerf right now. Why? You know, there's no way, because it's been years since this started becoming a problem. There's no way they don't know that we don't like this. So why do they continue to do it? I'll talk about this in the next video in the series, because that's going to be Elite 2.0, and oh boy, am I going to have a lot to say in that one. But they did the same thing, where a bunch of the blasters are just things we've gotten a million times before. You can make different blasters, Nerf. We know you can. We're not stupid. We know you can be creative. And I do understand to a degree, because when you make as many blasters as Nerf has... I'm thirsty. When you make as many blasters as Nerf has, you start to run out of ideas because you've done so much. And I understand that, but there are a lot of very smart people that work for this company. They've come up with things for these blasters that I could not have come up with. they've made things for these blasters that I'm sure people a lot smarter than me could not have come up with. And I understand there's not going to be as much new stuff now since they've made so many different things. But they're smart enough that at least every once in a while there's got to be some sort of innovation. Like, it gets to a point where you're like, okay, these people are smarter than this. They're just being lazy. And I don't like to throw that term around at people, but Alpha Strike had way too many of these. Moving on to my next complaint about the series, most of these blasters are things I would never use. Like, a lot of them are just small, 3-dart, 4-dart backup pistols to use, when your primary, not just your primary, but your secondary two have both run out of ammo, you don't have any way you can reload them, just backup stuff, stuff that's made for the same thing I would use a Jolt for. That's what most of the series was. But it's lower quality plastic than the things that we already have that do the exact same thing. I'm sure Coop772 fans, if you've seen his video that he did with, his series overview of the Elite series, the point in the video where he threw the triad at the wall, he did say in the video, it's okay, I have another one, which kind of implies that it broke. I don't know if it broke when he threw it at the wall. But that's the thing. I don't know. A Alpha Strike blaster with how bad the quality of plastic is, judging by what I've heard about them, you throw it at the wall, you're going to see that thing snap. We didn't actually see Coop's triad break, if it even did break. That's impressive. A grown man threw it at the wall. I'm sure, a Stinger from the Alpha Strike line. Actually, is the Stinger an Elite 2.0 blaster? I think the Stinger was an Alpha Strike blaster first, and then they remade it for Elite 2.0, but I know it's in the Elite 2.0 line. I think they reskinned it. But if you take either way, because Elite 2.0 still sucks. If you take a Stinger and you throw it at your wall, your Stinger is not going to survive. There's a chance his triad probably made it out of there. And another thing, some of these blasters were just playing horrible. There's one that I'm thinking of. I was thinking about this earlier. I forget what this blaster is called. I don't know why it's not coming to me. It's one of the worst ideas for a nerf blaster I've ever seen. It's a Jolt. It's in the Alpha Strike line. It's a Jolt. And instead of it being, it's still got the T-pull priming mech, the T-pull priming mech that all Jolts have. But it's not the same. It's the T-pull priming mech, but there's no trigger. There's no trigger to fire it. You slam the priming handle up, and that's how you shoot it. And the thing is, Jolts are something that I've always used as a backup pistol where I pull it out of my pocket, go like that, pop off a shot, and while I'm doing that, I'm probably grabbing something someone dropped to use or something like that. Or maybe that's just something I do while I'm vulnerable switching to my secondary because my primary's out of ammo. But with that blaster, and this one that I forget the name of, that you go like this, it sounds like a cool idea on paper, but what I would do where I'm switching to my secondary while I've got the Jolt out, I can't do that. Because you need to take your other hand and hit the bottom of the blaster to fire. So it is literally a jolt that you need 2 hands to fire a single shot. I'm sure you see how stupid that sounds. It's a jolt reskin. It's a jolt reskin, but it requires 2 hands to fire a single shot. Even if you have it in your pocket primed, like I always do when I use a jolt, if you have it in your pocket primed, you still have to use 2 hands. You can't go like this because there's no trigger. It's so dumb. Because I literally have to look like I'm proposing to the person I'm shooting at to shoot at them. I shouldn't need to do that because that's my backup pistol. I'm grabbing that out with 1 hand already primed to fire at somebody while I'm switching to my secondary. That is what I use a jolt for. It's the dumbest idea. And a lot of the Alpha Strike blasters are just like that. They're just dumb. But that is my take on the Alpha Strike series. I'm actually kind of interested in this one to see what you guys have to say in the comments. Because I do not own any of these blasters. So you guys could all have very different opinions than me if you guys actually own Alpha Strike blasters. Because I don't own any. I own similar stuff. And by similar stuff, I mean pieces of garbage I found at a dollar store. Yes, that's what I mean by similar stuff, because that's what Alpha Strike is. And I own plenty of smart air restrictor technology blasters. Why'd that open? But if you guys have anything to add that I didn't say, please bring it up in the comments. If you have anything, if you think this series is good, and you have a counter argument for me, please leave that in the comments as well. I'm actually interested to see why anyone would like this. So leave your opinions in the comments down below. Please subscribe. I'm just starting this channel. I'm recording this on a Saturday, and my first video went up on, I believe, a Wednesday. So, that I can think of right now. There's not really much I need to add to this video in editing. It's going to be edited really fast. Well, this video might go out tomorrow, if not the day after. It's not as long as the other one. But since I am a small channel, just starting out with literally less than 20 subscribers last I checked, it means a lot to me, and it really does help for you guys to subscribe. So please do so. At this point, I'm just trying to get the subscribe button to do the thing where it glows when I say subscribe. Subscribe. Did it glow? Did it glow? It probably didn't glow. But I'm done rambling at this point. So see you guys in the next video where I will talk about Elite 2.0. Oh God. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of my series on the 4 really bad recent nerf series. The first one was Alpha Strike. I'll have a playlist. I already do have a playlist if you want to check it out with the videos in this series. All in it. The first video is already in this playlist, and this one probably will be shortly after it goes up. This one is going to be on Elite 2.0. Probably the worst of the 4 series we will be talking about in this series. I've probably already said series enough times in the past 51 seconds to make you guys all want to click off this video. By the way, I mentioned that I don't know. I mentioned in the last video that this is just a song, like this is just a ball that vibrates that I keep in my room and is apparently barely functioning. That I ripped into pieces. I mentioned in the last video that the videos in the series might not be coming out back to back to back. The third video will probably be the next thing that I make in this series. This is probably starting to annoy you. The third video will probably be the next one that comes out on my channel. I don't know when the fourth one's gonna come around, because I plan on having a couple new blasters to review on the channel. By the time the next video, like shortly after the next video comes out, I will have new blasters to release on the channel. For a matter of fact, the next video in this series might not even be the next video. It probably will be, but it might not. Anyway, I actually own some Elite 2.0 blasters. I believe I have 5 of these, and I have a 6th one at my grandparents' house. I'll just go over that right now. The Trio. It's a 3-shot jolt. You don't need it. You don't need the Trio. It's not bad, but it's just a 3-shot jolt. No one cares. It's just filler. But I have 5 of them with me right now. So I'm going to go over the ones that I have with me right now as examples. Now, I'm going to start with 2 that aren't actually that bad. There are very few examples of this in this series, but not everything here is bad. I do consider this worse than Alpha Strike because there are more of these than there are Alpha Strike. And the bad far outweighs the good. I probably couldn't count on one hand, but there's probably less than 10 good blasters in this series. This is the Moto Blitz. This is one of the newer blasters in my collection, and by newer, I mean I got it recently. It's not actually one of the newest blasters in my collection. This is a bullpup blaster. And what's interesting about this is a flywheel, but at the front, there is a little 6-round shotgun. I really like this. This is really cool. So the way it works... Hold on. The way it works is you pump it up until it makes that noise. Once it makes that noise, that like little screeching noise, I don't know if you heard it, it's probably good. It's probably more than good at that point, actually. But there's a button on the side. There's actually a button on the other side, too, which isn't painted, but that's because Nerf does that all the time. This one, same way. We'll get to that one later. But this is on both sides, and you press it. I want to make sure you can see. All 6 darts go off at once. And it's very cool. It's very fun. And if you miss with that, I'm sorry. I mean, well, if you miss by very much with that, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm trying to say this as nicely as possible, but you're pretty trash if you miss by too much with that. Why is it not revving up? Okay. I accidentally hit the, rev trigger, and it wasn't revving. I guess you have to have a mag in for that. I don't know. I haven't had this blaster for long. And by I haven't had this for long, I mean I've had it for 4 months. But this is the other one that I have that's pretty good. The Double Punch. That I know of, this is one of the newest additions to this series. And while Nerf hasn't been good in recent years, and by recent years I mean 2024 to currently, and this is being recorded in December of 2025, this is, and by the way, I know there's going to be people who comment no dip when this first comes out. That is for anyone watching this 10 years from now. But it's been better than Elite 2.0. Nerf recently has not been good, but it's been better than Elite 2.0 was. Although I do technically still consider Elite 2.0 recent. But this is pretty interesting. So it can hold 2 mags and it has 2 barrels, which reciprocate, by the way. It's really cool. But I'm just going to put 2 darts, a dart in each of these mags to show you this. For anyone who hasn't seen this already, this is very cool. So, you put the mags in. No, really? And when you pull back the trigger, when you pull back the trigger, and it fires, release it, there goes the other one. One barrel will fire when you pull the trigger, and the other barrel fires when you release the trigger. And I really like that. That is really cool and innovative. But enough talking about what's good about this series. Let's go into what's crap about this series, because that's what this video was supposed to be about. Starting with the Ace. It's a Jolt reskin. You guys probably already have a million of those, so we don't need it. We don't need that. This is the Echo. This is not too bad. Whenever I pick up a Nerf Springer, I just have the compulsion to do that. But this is not horrible, but there are things about this that irritate me to no end. This grip, as you can see, fits my hand pretty well. But I have been told by my friends on multiple occasions that I have small hands. I'm a very big person, but I have small hands. And by a very big person, I mean a very big middle schooler. I don't mean very big person in general. But now, a child will have no problem with this, but if you're an adult into Nerf, that could be an issue, because this is not that much bigger than my hand, and I have small hands. Also, this is, I'm sure you noticed with this, I pulled the priming handle back. This is one of those springers where you have to pull the priming handle back in order to put the mag in, which I don't like because it takes longer. I mean, it's more fun to do, but on the battlefield that takes longer. But it's kind of like, it's not working with this particular mag. It's not working with this particular mag, but normally this is spring-loaded and they just fall out. Probably because this is an X-Shot mag. And why is it not working? Hold on. It wasn't going back all the way. It's not cooperating with this. Oh! Okay. Note to you guys, this blaster does not cooperate with X-Shot mags. It's cooperated with X-Shot mags in the past. I don't know why it's not doing it now. Did that just fire? That's cool. I need to stop talking about what's good about this and talk about what's bad, because that's what you guys are here for. This is not too bad of a blaster. The problem is, it's one of those blasters where you put the... I just realized how weird that looked. But you put a barrel extension on, stock on, mag fed, and even has slam fire. That system even has the mag release where it always is on those kinds of blasters. That system has been used on so many Nerf blasters, most famously the Retaliator. It's just a clone of a thing that we have seen a million times. And I talked about in the Alpha Strike video that we don't want the same thing over and over and over again, and I know the people at Nerf are innovative enough to come up with new things. Someone did put in the comments that, oh crap, I'm gonna have to go back and figure out who this was so I can put them in a pinned comment or something again, because I don't remember usernames, and there was a pretty big gap between this video and the last one. But someone commented on the last video saying that most kids won't know the difference. That's true, and that annoys me even more, because this person watched both videos, by the way. They watched the video before the last one, and they watched the last one. They watched both of the videos that I have out. which I appreciate, by the way. Most of the people I saw did not. I seen 2 returning people in the comments of the last video from the first one. I appreciate both of you guys. But when kids see a blaster, and a good example of this is actually a Tri-Strike right here. It's the exact same system, just bolt action, where it's the mag fed, can have a barrel extension, can have a stock. The mag release is all the way up here, but, and it's bolt action. But, I mean, that's pretty much the only difference between this and this. When they reuse the same thing over and over again, most kids will see different shell, different... I'm falling. I'm kind of like crouched down right now, and I'm losing my balance. But most kids will see that it's a different shell, different color, and I'll just be like, yep, it's a different blaster, and they'll beg their parents for it because they liked the thing that was similar to it, and they'll think it's a completely different thing. Most little, like, small children will see will see that and be like, see the small differences and be like, yep, it's a different thing that I don't already have. And they do already have the same thing. So they're basically fooling the kids into thinking that they're adding a new blaster to their collection when really they already have everything they're going to get out of this. Another thing that I've seen with this, and this applies to all the Elite 2.0 blasters, is like it's the same, it's like similar, if not the same plastic as the Alpha Strike blasters. And I don't know if you can see this, but I can. It's very slight, but this is bending. I'm not a grown man. I'm a middle schooler. That's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to bend when I apply force to it. That's not supposed to bend like that. Like the grip you can probably see on video bending, because that's like a noticeable difference. When I was watching it in the camera, I didn't see it, but I can, like, just looking like this, I can see it. Trust me, it's there. And oh my god, just from doing that, look. Like, my grip. It's split in a place. It's the same crappy plastic as Alpha Strike. And because I guess there's something in this, like stock attachment nub back here. But from what I've heard, you have to damage this blaster to mod it. That's not good. And apparently this one doesn't shoot as hard as, like, the 70 FPS that, like, within the same series, this blaster is shooting at. Which is not even, that's not good. Especially in a world where we have 200 FPS blasters. Like, 60 FPS is pathetic at this point. And the last Elite 2.0 blaster, I saved the one I've had the longest and by far the worst one. Actually, no, this is the Trio is the one I've had the longest, but that's not in my house right now. For last, the Eagle Point. I like this thing from cosmetics, but, like, as a blaster, I hate. I was about to say everything about this, but no, it's not really everything. I hate a lot about this blaster. I want to see if it's going to do it. This blaster... Actually, I want to see if I can get the plastic to bend. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's bending. And I wouldn't mind if this broke. For reasons... It's not working. But I wouldn't mind if this broke for reasons I'm about to go into. The main reason is... This is already broken. I got this, I don't know, I think I was like 10? 9? I don't know. But I got this. I got it when it was brand new. So it came out in 2021. If I told you how old I was in 2021, it would leak my age to the internet, which I don't exactly want to do, and I've already told you that I'm a middle schooler. But I'll tell you this, I was pretty dang close to exact with my guess. But yeah, I got this shortly after it came out. So I didn't get it in 2021, but I got it probably the year after. I might have gotten it in 2021, but I got it around that time. And it broke a year later. So it still functions, but like I want to see how long it takes to do it. Yeah, it just did it. Where I'll pull the priming handle back and I'll put it forward, and along the way it'll get caught on something and it will go forward and like it won't be primed. It just did it right there. And like if you saw how it came back kind of like, I need to find my, here, I'll use this blaster as an example. Because I have almost all my Nerf blasters in my room right now, so I have plenty. If I need to use a Nerf blaster as an example, I have plenty to work with. With this, when it's primed, I can pull it back freely. I don't know if you just saw, but I was just able to do that with this blaster. That's not supposed to happen unless it's primed. But it wasn't primed, and it just did that. And it will do that from time to time, and it's annoying. Especially when I'm in the middle of a Nerf war, using this blaster, and it just farts out like that. And, like, the cylinder skips darts. It'll like, skip darts. I barely used this in the year it took the break, by the way. The main blasters I was using around that time, I don't know. For a very long time, the first Nerf blaster I ever got was the Alpha Strike Alpha Hawk. And for a very long time, that was like the only one, that was like the main blaster that I had that I used. Because for a very long time, I only had like 4 Nerf blasters, and it was the best of those 4. So for a long time, it was like the only one that I really used. Now I have like 30 or 40, maybe even 50. I have a lot. But I believe this was like my 10th, but this thing broke so fast with so little use. It's actually annoying. And like these dart holders in the back, by the way, there's 4 on either side, so 8. Like they barely hold like the dart. Like I know it's holding it well now, but let me get an elite dart because it works worse with elite darts. I don't know why it's not doing it, but they'll like I'll be like running around and they'll like gradually slip out because it holds them so loosely. And you don't want it to hold them really tightly because it'll leave marks in the dart. Like these that come with the X-Shot Insanity blasters, these hold them like a mix. Sometimes it's too loose. I don't know why, but sometimes it's too loose and it like wiggles out. And sometimes, especially with these like clips, it'll leave like marks in the side of the dart. It's because it's too tight. And like I didn't have it in long enough just then to show it to you, but sometimes it will do that with these that come with the X-Shot Insanity guns or blasters, same thing. And I have all of those except like the micro that no one cares about and the smoking barrel, and I don't know what's going on with that. I think the smoking barrel came out. I don't know. But I have all the other X-Shot Insanity blasters. And like these things do cause issues like that. They're still efficient because you can have like, I believe this holds 23 and like the longer ones hold 20, and you can have like those, like that's a big boost in like dart count. And those blasters are good enough on their own. They're useful to have, but that's annoying. This is the exact opposite where it barely even holds your dart. It's just bad. This is garbage. And like a lot of Elite 2.0 blasters are like that, where they don't function well. They're the same thing we've already gotten a million times. And, like, they're, like, freaking bendy. I saw it flex a little on the screen. I hope you guys caught that. They're, like, bendy. So, like, at this point, there's a million reasons why they suck, so why should you buy them? And by the way, with this one, where they're all clipped and glued together so you can't mod them, almost all of them are like that. Hold on. Hey, I'm recording for my YouTube channel. So be quiet. I have to tell my sister to be quiet because she's never quiet for any reason ever. Like, there's a million reasons why you should not buy these. And a lot of them are just plain overpriced, too. Like, I believe, especially when they're doing, like, sublines, like, based on, like, video games or TV shows. Like, I have some of the Minecraft ones. I have some of the Fortnite ones in there, even though I don't play Fortnite. Because I just think they're cool, because they look like real guns, and real guns are cool. I have some of the Star Wars ones because, as you can tell by all the Star Wars memorabilia behind me, I really like Star Wars. And I have to tell you, one of them's like, kind of like this one where it's half broken. And the other one's like, it's fun to use, but it's not actually great for a Nerf war. And like, what I'm seeing online from like all the other Star Wars blasters, the Star Wars ones just aren't good. But, like, there's if this is, I believe, like $20, $25, $30, I don't know. But there's like Star Wars or Fortnite or like Minecraft. Well, not Minecraft, because all those are like Minecrafty. I don't know how else to describe it. But like Star Wars and Fortnite blasters are similar to this. They're like $90 just because they have Star Wars or Fortnite slapped on it. Roblox too. I don't have any of those blasters, but like Roblox too. Where they have a franchise that a lot of people like slapped onto it. So it's apparently worth $70 more than what this is worth. And Elite 2.0, a lot of the blasters are just overpriced for no reason. Like, having it overpriced because there's a franchise logo slapped on it is a bad reason, but it's a reason. And some of the Elite 2.0 ones, they don't have a reason, they just are overpriced. And they do break on you. Specifically the Warden. I will never buy. It just did it again, where I was fidgeting with this in my hands, and I didn't even have to, I pulled the priming handle back, and it just effortlessly went back as if it was already primed. But, the Warden, Wacom F7 made a video on this. It's probably the worst Nerf blaster ever made. I'm just going to go outright and say it. He didn't even mess with it for that long. He had two of them that he didn't even mess with for that long. I believe one of them he didn't even fire a shot from. Like, well, he dry fired it a little, but he didn't even fire like a single like dart out of it. And it just, as he pulled the priming handle back, and it just snapped. Like, it broke. And it's, with the Warden, it breaks so much, because that was Wacom F7. S7, I believe, is the one that made the video. Yeah, Wacom S7 is the one that I just mentioned, because I don't know if I mentioned him earlier or not. But Coop772 in his like Elite 2.0 series overview even mentioned, when he was talking about the Warden, that he broke 2 in testing. I believe Legit Bread has broken at least 1, although I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, but I think he has broken at least 1. And I'm getting suspicious that I don't want to throw accusations around, but I'm getting suspicious that the Warden was actually designed to break, so you'd have to buy another one. Like, if Wacom can break one of those as fast as he did, a child is going to tear through Wardens. And it's basically the same thing as the Rough Cut anyway, and the Rough Cut's a good blaster. I don't think they're available anymore, but just find some place, buy like a used rough cut that's still like in decent condition. If you really want like that kind of like shotgun blaster. And like the Warden, it's the worst one, but it summarizes Elite 2.0 pretty well. Doesn't shoot as hard as it should. Cannot be modded. Breaks. Bendable plastic. Did I see it flex on camera? Like this one? I kind of can. And I'm sure someone, because I'm kind of weak, I'm sure someone stronger than me could definitely, like, bend that plastic out of shape. But that's pretty much Elite 2.0. And when that was the flagship series for Nerf, it was probably the lowest point in the company's history. It was terrible. Every blaster that they put out for that line, dang near, was terrible. These are exceptions to the rule. These are great blasters. This is what I want to see from Nerf in the future. I hope that Nerf will make more like this. The Galactic Commander in the loadout line, I love. I didn't even watch reviews of it because I have to eventually. But like, I might get one of those soon, and when I review that thing, I will find out for myself if that's good or bad. That's how excited I am for that. Because we need Select Fire back. We need stuff like that. We need innovative stuff like Select Fire. We need things like this. Give us more shotguns. Like, the Ultra Speed. This was cool. It sucks that it doesn't work with normal Ultra Mags, but this was cool. Give us stuff like this. We don't want this garbage. That's about it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one, because that pretty much sums up Elite 2.0. I've talked about that series way too much today, and now I feel really depressed. What's up, guys? Welcome to the third video. This is the third video. The third video in my series on the problem with modern Nerf. The series we're going to be talking about today is one that has been frustrating a lot of people very recently. And actually, when I came up with this series, like probably about a year ago when I was supposed to start my channel, the fourth series that is going to be in the fourth video, that being Nerf Loadout, and I don't have any of those blasters right now, but I probably will have some of them by the time that video comes out, and I'll probably have reviews on both of them by then, because I'm going to have some new blasters by the time the next video comes out, and I'll be doing reviews of them before I do the next video, just to make you aware of that. But Nerf Loadout is very tightly connected to that, and that's been causing a lot of controversy recently. Well, it's not really controversy. Everyone agrees that it stinks. But you know what I mean. Negative attention. And this has been getting the same thing. So, the premise of the Nerf N series... I just said N series. I need to get out. I mean, was that really that bad? It was that bad. This is the Elite Dart. This is... Well, no crap, it's the Elite Dart. Everybody knows what an Elite Dart is. This has been the standard Nerf Dart for over a decade. And it is a piece of crap. They have tried replacing it many times. And by many times, I mean they tried Elite Suction, and they tried AccuStrike, and then they gave up. And the cool thing about those, and I don't have either of those darts on me, was that they were better versions of this that worked in the same blaster. Here's another better version of this, the Nerf N1 dart for the N series blasters. But this will not go in to this, which is the same blaster system that we've been using for 10 plus years. Where'd that go? Here it is. This is the same blaster system we've been using for 10 plus years. And now we have this stuff. This is a better dart, I'm not gonna lie, but still not great. And the AccuStrike darts, those were amazing. I don't know why they made these instead of standardizing those. And they did make an attempt to do this a while back with a series that was actually pretty good with pretty decent darts, regardless of what people say, is the Ultra series. These. There's a dart in front of my camera. Was that dart in front of the camera the whole time? Are you kidding me? But they tried to do that with the Ultra series, the same thing. And I don't like that it doesn't work with the blasters we've had over the years, but these aren't too bad, and they even have the better Ultra AccuStrike ones. But the issue is, everyone kind of dogged on these when they were first released. Because the series, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes Nerf has ever made branding-wise, was branded as better than Elite. That's not possible. Well, it is possible, but, like, hasn't been done and probably never will be. Nerf Ultra was not better than Nerf Elite, which is probably why they scrapped it, because people were mad because it wasn't what it was branded as. And now they've attempted this. Much worse than Ultra. And, yeah, I'm not happy. And I know most of the Nerf community is not happy. So, here are the blasters from the series that I have. We're going to start with something that's actually not bad. The Pinpoint. I would probably never use the Pinpoint. Is that what that's called? I forget if that's what it's called. Does it say anywhere on it? I think it's called the Pinpoint, right? This is called the Pinpoint, right? Yeah, Pinpoint. It's a bolt-action sniper rifle, you know what I mean. It looks like a sniper rifle, but it's not actually a sniper rifle because those don't exist in Nerf. Nothing shoots the ranges that it's advertised as shooting. But what's cool about this is if you saw what I just did, this you can take the mag out and put it back in whenever you want, which is something that Nerf doesn't always give you the luxury of. It's bolt action, which is an ambidextrous, like, bolt. And it's just fun to use. I would never use this in a Nerf war. I would never actually use it. But it's fun. It's a fun blaster to use and mess around with. And I don't know if you saw what just happened there, though. The bolt does get stuck a lot, and you have to push it forward. So make sure when you're firing it, your bolt is up here. Not your bolt. Your bolt should not be there. It should be like that. Not, hold on. Not like this. Like this. Because that does happen quite a bit. And that is not ideal. The other one that's not horrible is the Strike Back, I believe is what this is. They don't put the names on the blasters anymore. Well, they put them on the blasters, but not in, like, big bold letters. Dang it. And this is a pump action one. It's very reminiscent of, like, a Remington shotgun. It has a 6-round internal mag, which is fun, but it's not as good as, like, a removable mag, like the Pinpoint has. And if you notice, yeah, it does that, and it's like the world's biggest priming indicator. Comically short stock, though. I'm not the biggest fan of that. that, like, I'm not... I mean, like, these headphones are causing issues already. I mean, I'm not opposed to this, but, I mean... Actually, this isn't as bad as I remember it being, the stock. It's not great, though. So yeah, that's a strike back. Although we have had, like, the same system a million times of pump action, the 6-round internal mag. That's been a thing a million times. And I talked about in the Elite 2.0 video with the Echo, that I don't like that, but this is a little bit better than Elite 2.0. That is still a major issue, though. This is not terrible, but the whole thing with them making the same thing over and over and over again, my camera's tilted. It needs to stop. Next thing I have on the list is a blaring example of exactly what I just talked about, with them remaking the same thing over and over and over again. The agility. It's top prime, and it has a 6-round rotating cylinder. And from, I believe, 2018 in the Elite series, top prime, 6-round rotating cylinder, the disruptor. I don't see really much of a difference here. And it was the same thing with, like I believe what's the Mega one called? Why am I not remembering the name of the Mega one? I'm not remembering it. But then there was the Strong Arm in the Elite series, so 2-in-1 series. The Elite 2.0 had the Commander. There's been a ton of these. And I'm pretty sure there was even the Maverick in the N-Strike line. How can I not remember the Mega one? But there was one in Mega. There's been a ton of these. There's been a crap ton of these. That didn't prime all the way. There's been a ton of these, and it's annoying because they keep, like, this one is slightly excusable, but I really like these. These are really good sidearms to use. Well, it's not a true sidearm since you have to use it with 2 hands. But, like, it's a good sidearm to use. But, just use... Why not keep using this one? Or, like, the Maverick. Well, actually, the Maverick is, like, a joke now. Like, N-Strike blasters are basically a joke now. I mean, like, N-Strike, like this series with, like, the yellow blasters, not, like, that dart system. That's a lot better than the N-Series dart system. You know what I mean. But, like, the N-Strike series it's been so long ago, it's kind of, like, outdated. But, like, the Elite blasters and stuff, just use the Elite one, or, like, the Mega one. Just do that. Just fill this full of AccuStrike darts and use this. I don't understand why you can't do that. And they need to stop making these. There's so many. And with nerf loadout, I'll talk about this in the loadout video, but there are 4 of these. No. They just need to stop. And then the last thing that I own in this series, and this is probably going to be the main topic of the video. And by the way, I haven't done much comparison between the 2 dart types. I will make at some point a comparison video, but I'll just give you my opinion now. This is better than this. This is better than this, but not by much. I believe these shoot a little bit harder, like these blasters, they shoot a little bit harder. And I know, like, this is, like, smaller, but it's not noticeable, like, how much harder these shoot. And they're more accurate than these. These are famously inaccurate, as you all know. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a difference. And I don't believe these have as much range. But yeah, we'll go into that. I'll go into that in a full video. I'll likely be using these two blasters because they're so similar. And then we get into the N Series Gear Up pack. Oh my god. Why? I'll just go into the attachments right now. It's a Nerf scope. Nerf scopes are never good. As far as the stock goes, I hope this looks as small as it is. I have small hands, but holy crap. I'll show you what a good size sock looks like. A good size stock looks like this. And it's pitiful. And I'm sorry, no one is gonna hold the blaster like this. And like at the end, so the blasters, you got this thing, and this also does the thing where it only comes with, they've been doing this a lot recently, it only comes with one end of the bolt, and you put it on, if you're right-handed like me, you put it on the left, and if you're left-handed, which I am not, so I can't fire it like you guys would, but I'll just gangster shoot to show you. You put it on the right. I'm right-handed, so I need to move this. But that's kind of how they did this. And it's a bolt action version. It's basically this, but it's bolt action. It's got a bigger grip. It only has 4 shots, and it has a rail on the top instead of the bottom, and a stock attachment point. It's the same thing. And like I know I just talked about this, how they're releasing blasters that are like the same thing every other series. And I know they did this in Elite too, but at least the Disruptor was an improvement over the Strong Arm in the fact that you don't have to take the like the rotating like cylinder out of the blaster in order to reload it. But the same thing was released twice in the one series. And this one is a downgrade over the original. This is a downgrade over this. Like when they did it with Elite with this was an upgrade over the previous one, and it was years afterwards. This is a downgrade over this, and I'm pretty sure these were both released in the same year. These are both 2024 blasters, I believe. That's absurd. This might have been late 2023. Either way, that's still only a year apart. If even. It's pathetic. Like, within a year. And then, this came in this, but there's also like an 8-pack of these. They call it like a Flex Party Pack or something. This is the Flex. This is the new Jolt. And like, here's an old Jolt. Here's a new Jolt. I'm sure you didn't notice much of a difference. That's because there really wasn't that much of a difference. I mean, this is a chicken, but this is a Minecraft one. This is not like your average Jolt. And I guess you can do this. But, I mean, these stocks are only good for, like, these stocks? Scopes are only good for, these Nerf scopes, 9 times out of 10, and this one falls into that category, Nerf scopes are only good for like looking cool, and this looks. I don't even know how to describe how this looks. Really bad. I'll get my. You think that looks bad? Here's another one of my scopes. I'm never doing that. And then the third blaster they released in this pack had a dart in it. This blaster and these two only appeared in the Gear Up pack, so they currently go unnamed. But this blaster in the same freaking products. It's the same thing, but they added a crap ton of extra bulk to it. And they've done this like a million times with the N series, and they're bringing it into other series too. Like, where they're doing like the same thing, but a little bit different. Like with the Minecraft series, I'll have to get mine out. I have it hanging from the ceiling in my closet. Well, not exactly the ceiling, kind of like halfway up. But I have it hanging in my closet. Is the crossbow they did for Minecraft. Yeah, they did one of these for the N series. Well, it's still in the Minecraft series, but it fires N series darts, and it's the same thing, but with, instead of like the 3-round Smart AR, it's 6 rounds, and it's like a rotating cylinder. And I believe it's the same priming method too, but this doesn't stay back. It's spring loaded, like say this. They did this. They did, and they did like, I believe like the Minecraft Heart Stealer sword. That was like a sword that fired a dart. They did another one, and like, it's not just an N series is doing this, but they're like releasing the same blaster multiple times. There's like so many like single shots coming out. Like there's so many different. There's a bunch of different copies of the Ward, which is a 2-shot freaking Joel. Not to be confused with the character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That wasn't even funny. Gosh darn it. But they're releasing a bunch of different variants of the Ward that have like a breach. And they're releasing a bunch of single shots with loadout, which I will talk about. They released 6 blasters, and 4 of them were the exact same thing as this, except one of them was pump action, and the other 3 were bolt action, like this one. And no. When I think of this series, the N series, the first thing I think is just no. They're getting rid of the dart system we've used for a decade and replacing it with something that's, like, I mean, not entirely inferior, but is if they had just used AccuStrike, they should have kept, there was nothing wrong with AccuStrike. They should have kept, like, AccuStrike darts. They should have made AccuStrike darts. Why is this dart, like, sitting on the ground, and why is it so crushed? But they should have made AccuStrike darts the main dart, and they didn't. And they kept going on with these pieces of garbage, which eventually led us to this. And it's garbage, and it makes me so mad. Because it's a full series of crap that is mediocre at best. And it's just stuff we've already seen before, but worse. And it gets to a point where it's like, why would they do this? Like, and with like N series, because they're already doing Nerf loadout. In the entire line, I'm pretty sure there's one flywheeler. Are Springers the future of Nerf? Like, most people agree that flywheelers are better than springers. I'd rather be walking around, popping off a shot every second with this than every other shot having, like, not even every shot having to go until I run out of ammunition. And now, gotta do this, like, put stuff in. And, like, there are very few flywheelers that aren't, that, at least that I can think of, that aren't mag-fed. Most of them that I can think of are mag-fed. So 90% of the time, not only is it like a better system where I can just go like this, but when I'm reloading it, and it's just like that. And it gets to a point where, at the end of the day, I know this is the newer thing, and society now a lot of the time just believes newer automatically means better. But, I mean, why would I take this over this? And, like, I know I'm using an Elite 2.0 blaster for, like, the metaphor, darn it. Why should I choose this? Oh, gosh darn it. I stepped on something. It made everything in my room just fall to pieces. But why should I choose that over where the frick is it? Is it on the ground somewhere? I don't know where it is. It's in my closet. By this point, you've all just clicked off the video, but I'm looking through my closet for another one. Is it here? Oh, found it. Sorry about that. Why should I choose this over this? Why? Why should I? Why should I choose this when I already have this? Like, and this is fully automatic. Like, why should I choose this instead of just using this? It's better in, like, basically every way. And I don't know why, but it just makes me so depressed talking about these. Because some of them, like this that I'm holding in my hand, are really fun. They're really good things. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have this in the same series, which is a jolt with bulk on it. And that's going to be the end of this video. I know it's going to be a while until I do the next one on Nerf Loadout. But there will be Nerf Blaster reviews coming out between now and when that video comes out. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Please subscribe. Also, I forgot to mention that. Please subscribe. Have you done it yet? Please do it. Hello there. Welcome to, I know it's been a while, but I've been doing reviews, the last video in the Problem with Modern Nerf series. This is on Nerf Loadout. I could not get a Galactic Commander for this video, otherwise I'd have a review of that blaster out. I would have liked to have one, but I do not. I will get that blaster at some point and review it. It just won't be in this video. This video is also going to be shorter. It's late in the day. I should have recorded this video like several days ago because I'm in Northeast Ohio, and as I'm sure you guys have heard of, because everyone's making a big deal of it, there is a huge winter storm here. It's actually not been as cold as it is here right now for as long as it has been this cold since 1899. But I should have recorded this video a couple of days ago. I didn't. So I have to rush to get this video out by the end of tonight so that there's actually a video this week. And I'll probably end up recording next week's video tomorrow. Well, actually, knowing me, I won't. But actually, yeah, that will probably be my best chance to record that. So this is going to be on Nerf loadout. The only blaster I have in this series is this one, the Arctic Zero Striker. I have a review on this, which if you want to check it out, I will. It's a bolt action blaster, and it only comes with one bolt, but it can be put on either side of the blaster. There's slots for it on either side. So if you're left-handed, I'm right-handed, so that's why I put it on the left. You can always move it over to the right. So it's a breech system bolt action blaster with a 6-round internal mag. And it's actually not that bad of a blaster. And this loadout is meant to be the Nerf version of Modulus. And they actually made some changes to the attachment system. Because again, this is the N-series version of Modulus. So it uses the N1 darts instead of the standard elite darts that we've been used to. But the attachments on this blaster, now there's also a new stock in this series, but as you can see, there's an N-Strike nub on this blaster, so I think they're still going to be using both. But there's a new rail and a new barrel attachment nub. And what's weird about this is the old attachments for the rails go onto this blaster. Well, they did last time I tested it. Yeah, they do. And I don't have another blaster around here. Oh, I'm in my room, so I can just go get one. Crap. Nothing I forgot when setting up for this video. I'm trying to find one with a barrel attachment nub. The long striker here. Since we're talking about the N-series version of Modulus, I might as well get out an actual Modulus blaster. And when you put the new attachments on these old rails, it pops right on. So I don't understand why they changed the rail. I mean, I'm glad it's compatible with the old things, but if you're going to make it compatible, like, back and forth, why'd you need to change it in the first place? What's interesting is the barrel. Where did I put the barrel? Over there. Okay. So this new barrel goes onto old barrel nubs just fine. However, the old barrel does not go onto the new nub. I can't get it on here. I don't know why they made it that way. And it's actually probably because, I don't know why. I already had a barrel out. Why did I get out another one? But it's because they got rid of the full barrel inside, which is good for performance overall, but yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I'm glad they took the full barrel out, but why'd they have to make it no longer compatible with the old attachments? Just doesn't make sense to me why they did it that way. But now, there's only 6 blasters in the series, so allow me to go over all the ones that I don't have. So I've already been over this one. It's just your everyday standard, bolt action, internal mag, breech system blaster. It's nothing new. It's decent. It's not bad. But, I mean, it's basically this, but it's not mag fed. It's So we've had the same thing a million times before. It's a decent blaster, but I would never actually use it. What's interesting in this series, though, is the Galactic Commander, and I'm about to explain why I wish I could have had this blaster for this video. It is the first time since the Regulator in the Modulus line we have had Select Fire, which means there's one mode for semi-auto, which means it's pull the rev trigger, and every time you pull the trigger, there's a dart that comes out. There's Triple Burst, which is every time you pull the trigger, there's 3 darts, and Full Auto, which is you just hold it down and it keeps on firing until it runs out. I'm sure everyone watching this video knows what all of those things mean. I just had to clarify that for anyone who's completely smooth-brained. The Galactic Commander also comes with 18-round mags instead of the 10-rounder that came with the Pinpoint, or the 16-rounder that I forget what the name of the Sprinter had. I wish I had a Sprinter, but I do not. So it has a really good capacity, and it comes with, glory hallelujah, they're finally doing this, 2 mags. They barely ever done this. This one comes with 3 mags, which is great, but they've barely ever done this where it's come with more than 1 mags with a blaster. And the whole point of having mags is so that you can toss out one and grab another and put it in your blaster, instead of having to reload the whole thing. But they only ever include 1 mag with the blaster, and they included 2 with the Galactic Commander, which is great. And it just seems to be overall like a really good blaster. Everything seems to function fine. It seems to be performing decent overall. I need to get one in order to formulate a actual opinion, which is why I know that seems kind of like a crappy review, but I'm trying to do this fast so I can get it out on time. And I don't have the blaster, so I don't really know. I'll get one at some point, and I will have a detailed review when I get it, like I have of this. But I don't have the blaster. But what makes me really angry about this series is the 4 remaining blasters in the series. This is the Nerf N Series Agility. Imagine this in a bunch of different colors with some attachments. Those are the 4 remaining blasters in this series. They're all really the same thing. One of them's pump action, and the other 3 are bolt action, as opposed to this one being the top prime thing that we always get. But other than that, they are the exact same thing. That annoys me to no end, because one of my biggest critiques of Alpha Strike and N Series is that a lot of it's the same thing we've already gotten a million times. Even this, we've kind of gotten before. Not nearly as much as the other 4 blasters, which they had the audacity to release 4 of the same thing in the same series all at once. I believe one of them is called the Shadow Speed Recon. I forget the names of the other 3 because they're all the same blaster. So why don't we just call them all the Shadow Speed Recon? They released 4 Shadow Speed Recons in one series. Like, I don't get it. And like the plastic on those, I mean, this one, I can't bend this. This one's fine. And I don't know about the Galactic Commander because I don't have it. But I've seen Wall Combat 7's review on the Shadow Speed Recon. The plastic on those things is like so flimsy, man. Like at least on the Shadow Speed Recon, it's so flimsy. It's just another Alpha Strike situation in Elite 2.0. They're using crappy plastic. They're getting rid of quality. They're not using unique ideas. And a lot of the blasters, I mean, not in N Series, not in Loadout, but in Loadout, my main critique is that it's just things we've seen a million times before. And a lot of the blasters in these newer series are just plain bad, and that just kind of sums up modern Nerf. And I think because you're getting 2 blasters that are really, really cool, especially the Galactic Commander. And then you're getting 4 of these that are built with a much lower quality, and from what I've seen, performing a lot worse than this. It's arguably worse, and I don't think it's worse than Elite 2.0, but if someone told me that Nerf loadout was worse than Elite 2.0, I would not be like, whoa, hold on. I'd be like, understandable, have a great day. Because it is understandable that someone would believe that. I don't, but I get the opinion. I see where that's coming from. What in the world? Anyway, that's pretty much Modern Nerf in a nutshell. Bad blasters that we've seen a million times before, with occasionally something good like what I'm holding in my hands right now. I will never buy any blaster in Nerf loadout other than this one. If the one I'm holding in my hands ever gets messed up, I'll probably replace this, because I really do like this blaster. And I will buy myself a Galactic Commander at one point. But I will never buy any of the other blasters in this series, because I'm just so opposed to how they did it. They're doing the same thing over and over again. And it annoys me too, because in a comment on a video, probably like a month ago, it was a comment on the Alpha Strike video in this series. And I came back to it in the Elite 2.0 video. And I'll probably keep coming back to this comment over and over again as I talk about Modern Nerf being bad over and over again. They can just keep doing this, and they're exploiting the fact that they have a younger audience attracted to these toys. Because a little kid will see this in a different color and think it's a completely different thing than what they already have. And they're just getting a bunch of money out of these little kids. And, you can't exploit tiny children like that. Well, you can, but you shouldn't. They're little kids. They don't understand the world. They're not at that age yet where they understand that they're being scammed. And then there's people like me who buy these to have fun with and want them to actually be good and want new things with every release. And we feel like we're ripped off, and we go over the X Shot and Dart Zone who are actually giving us what we're asking for. And we get it. So, in the end, Nerf's only win is the little kids. And with Gen Alpha, little kids have kind of... What even is childhood anymore? Because all these little kids really do is sit around on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Fortnite all day. No one goes outside to shoot foam darts at their friends anymore. That's not something that people do anymore. It still should be, but kids have no life in 2026. So, in the end, Nerf's only way to win is little kids, and they've lost the little kids to Skibbity Toilet. So, the only people left to please, to make money off of, is us. And I gotta say, looking at Nerf loadout, I'm not impressed. And if people like me are not impressed, Nerf is not gonna do well. And here's the thing with Nerf is, I want them to succeed. But until we start getting things like this with the original Modulus and Elite and the old stuff, Zombie Strike, and so we start getting that back, then Nerf is not going in a good direction, and it probably won't be for some time. But I know I'm ending this video kind of abruptly. It's very short, but I would like to get this out on time and not have to apologize for making a video come out late. Not because I don't want to apologize, but not because I don't want to screw up. That being said, I have noticed a lot of my earlier videos did really well, and by really well I mean 200 views, which isn't very well, but I am very, very happy with that. My most recent video, I believe, currently has 12. So I've dropped in popularity a lot. I am not really that upset that I'm falling off, but I started YouTube because it is mainly because it is fun for me. But another thing I want to be able to do is to entertain a lot of people. And I cannot entertain a lot of people if my videos are getting 12 views. And part of that is my video quality is not actually that high right now. However, most of it comes from that. And that is something I have to work on. But there are some small things that you guys can do to help me out as well. And that is commenting on the video with any advice you have for me, or just any feedback you want to give me in general, leaving a like on the video, and subscribing. All of those things are very easy to do, and I know they seem like really small things, but they help me out a lot more than you think they do. So I would really appreciate it if you all do that right now. I'm not trying to force anything onto you, but I'm just letting you know once you subscribe, you are bound to this channel forever. And if you leave, I will banish you to the Shadow Realm. So yeah, please do all that, because that would be a big help to me, so I can keep getting content out and running, because that does help me out. That helps me make the channel better, because if I know people are liking it, I know what I can keep doing, and I can help entertain more people, because that is one of my goals with this YouTube channel, is to entertain more people. That being said, I'm going to end this video here, because I really need to get this video out, and it doesn't take as long for me to upload shorter videos. So that's going to be it, and I will see you later.